I can't remember when I wasn't interested in fiber and color for that matter. As a child riding public transportation, at that time it was streetcars, I remember standing very low amidst ladies with fur coats and reaching over and feeling their fur coats. I loved it in grade school when I got sat behind a boy with a flannel shirt because every time we needed to pass something, I could touch the flannel shirt. I started my weaving career on the potholder loom. As a young adult, I studied art at the University of Illinois Chicago Circle, where the Bauhaus program was taught. And in that program, I learned the problem-solving process from Gestalt psychology. That taught me to always ask questions. And it taught me to think about design for industry as well as design for function or enjoyment. The piece behind me reflects my interest in art and science. Back in the 50s, when there were arguments about what art and craft were, I didn't understand it. It all seemed the same to me. I really saw so many similarities in art and science, and I really thought that they were one thing. We all use the problem-solving process, and if we ask ourselves the right questions, we get to places where we never imagined we could go. In the 80s, I was a textile designer. I still am a textile designer. In the 80s, I wove fabrics for interiors and marketed them across the United States in various showrooms. Then in the 90s, I moved into more of my own personal art. That involved surface design, quilt making, intuitive piecing, and the piece behind me is representative of a new technology. This technology allows you to create fabric. What could be better for a weaver than creating fabric from scratch? This fabric is made of, well, the way I like to describe it is contact paper, sticky side up, with fibers drizzled on it, or ribbons, and then there's a layer that goes on top of that once you're satisfied. That is saran wrap, an equivalent of that. Then you flip the whole thing over, draw a grid on it, take it to your sewing machine, and the stitches of the grid become the structure of the fabric, encasing the ribbons and the fibers that you've laid down. The piece that I'm wearing is also made in that way. It's constructed fabric. So you start with nothing and you end up with a fabric that you can do many different things with. In this piece here, I used constructed fabric as one layer, and the back layer is made of silk organza, which has been screen printed and appliqued and has cutouts. I also found the word for butterfly in every language I possibly could and photo silk screened butterfly or photo transferred the word butterfly all around the piece. And if you look in the top left corner of it, you'll see a small silk cocoon. In this other piece, I got involved in photo printing on fabric. And I've taken 5 years worth of photographs of flowers, mostly at the Chicago Botanic Garden. And I culled through my collection of flowers, printed out the ones that I absolutely loved, created 10 small encasements, and stitched embroidery and various types of stitching to enhance the elements of the flowers. I love creating fabric. I love art and science. I love new technologies and new things. My most recent project was a hat that is illuminated. It's made out of plexiglass, and it has LED lights from the top and the bottom that are RGB, red, green, and blue, cross-wired so that it can be programmed to change color. Once I did the hat, I knew I had to do a garment. I'll be taking off in about a week, to do an e-textiles class in which I hope to learn how to make soft switches and use conductive threads to make the garment that lights up.